following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we'd like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what do we have? Well, we're off 7-8 points on the S&P cash. 2375 volume is 1.9 billion shares, which is a little light. What are we? Couple hundred million light. We didn't have a lot of volume on the way down. We haven't had a lot of volume from the pop up. We were down at 2367 on the S&P cash. And let's call it 2368. So, we're about halfway in the middle here. But there isn't any volume on the upside. There isn't any volume on the downside. And that is very much like Friday. There just isn't a lot of push to go out here and go buy stocks today, nor sell them. A lot of people will do it. And this is always kind of interesting. One of the things that you have to look for, and I have to thank Tim Ord for this, goes back to, I think, 2003 in the S&P lows. I don't remember the date. I do remember the number, though, and I'll always remember the number because I was looking at it for so long. And that was 789 on the S&P. We kept on waiting for it to come back down and test, and then I think the actual low was 769, and then there was a retest. Anyway, there was a lot of discussion about what we should expect off of long-term lows. And one of the things he brought up, and I hadn't thought about it at the time, I went back and looked through the data to verify, because I am very much a product of the Reagan years. Trust but verify. So what did we do? Went back and looked. It is what Tim Ord said. I don't know where he got it. But certainly it is low volumes off a low are not rare. And the same thing off highs. A lot of times big turns actually do have light volume for a while. And off that low, I remember we were up to maybe 1,000, maybe 1050 on the S&P cash off those lows before we got any volume in. And I thought, well, if this works like this off of long-term lows, maybe long-term highs can be that. And normally you try to find, volume off the highs, because most of the time in the center, that's what it is. You get huge moves, and, you get pullbacks on light volume, and it goes higher, and the volume not higher. Then it comes back, and it bounces forth, and it's kind of predictable. One of the things that you can see, though, lows and off highs, is a lot of times is very light volume. And that is a lot of times exactly where you find a lot of people that are frog-boiled, i.e. they turn the temperature very low. I can't tell you that that's what's going to happen here. Can tell you that we do have very light volume. But I would not be surprised if we do find out that in a week or two we're back down to 2,300 on the S&P cash or something, that we had light volume all the way down. Because I was able to watch and witness and trade through almost to 250 points up on the S&P cash with no volume either. The volume, no one believes, and I think this is the quote. I can't remember who said it, but it goes back to the 1920s or 10s. No one believes at highs or lows that they're at highs or lows. And it's very tough, almost counterintuitive to go after. But an interesting thing nonetheless. Let's start this show with a little bit of history.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And what do we have today? Oh, in 1959, At a press conference in New York City, Texas Instruments executives demonstrate a new device invented by one of the company's top engineers, Jack Kilby. He actually co-designed this with a guy named Noyce. They call their little gadget an integrated circuit. Today we know it as a microchip, the tiny cell that powers the digital age. And the first thing this thing was actually used in was a Regulus missile. If you ever go to New York, I think they've got one sitting out there on the aircraft carrier next to the submarine that it had kind of a bat cave on the top of it. And they'd surface, and they'd have to spend some time out on the ocean, bring this thing out. It took like an hour to fold the wings out and everything else. And this first cruise missile would literally fly off the deck of a submarine, a diesel submarine. So the first use of it was in a Regulus missile. They pulled out all the guts, put in all the new guts using these integrated circuits, put all the mail for the people in the sub in the nose cone of the missile. And a lot of people talk about drones today, but by mid-1959, I think this was in June or July, they launched a Regulus missile some 200 miles off the coast of Florida, and that missile landed on a runway and delivered the first mail by missile. They called it missile mail. But a lot of people think that, drones, everything else kind of new. Yes, do they work much better than they did in 1959? The answer is yes. But a lot of stuff was invented that a lot of people don't think about. It just never would have worked very well. The whole idea of sitting out there being a target for an hour on the top of the water never seemed like a great idea. But on this day in 1959, they waved their flags and showed one of the biggest inventions of all time. What else do we have out here? 1K per package. We've got splits coming. Splits-a-palooza comes May 1st. If you are looking at any of these ETFs and you wake up on May 1st, do not fear. Splits are here. SPND. The Nugget, NUGT, JNUG, JDST, SOX, S, WDRW. I don't know what that one is. I'll have to go look it up. RUSS, RUSS, and SPXS are all going to split. So if you see a giant move, do not fear. May 1st is here. And you'll probably wake up. You'll probably still be scared if you're in these things. And then you'll hear my little voice in the background going, don't fear. Split day is here. So what else do we have going on? That's about it. We're going to go and start looking at some airline stocks. Kind of a little debate on whether or not for airlines we should be, where is it at here? There it is. What we should be looking at. Some people say that it was based on a new travel advisory from our President Trump. But all the airlines are kind of down, 4%, 3%, 4%, 2%. We're going to go through those and see if there's any technical damage today. And then we'll go on to some other sectors. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And a question in the den. What do you think about March 15th U.S. government debt limit? They'll just raise it. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of change. You know, it's kind of like Reagan. You're going to have to see probably about a year come by before any significant dent in that. But if they get all that repatriation money back in 2018, my guess is that we will probably, at least for a few years, see at least a halt of the rise of the debt limit, and it probably won't be an issue. But my guess is that they're going to have to raise it one more time and get that tax bill done this year, and then that's kind of it. So I think maybe they're thinking that they're starting to see the end of the tunnel in the rising $20 trillion government debt limit going on. Anyway, we were talking about the break before, taking a look at airline stocks out here. One of the things I don't think a lot of people ever think about, but I think a lot about it, is alternate realities or alternate futures. Everybody always has a reason for something happening. Unfortunately, all the other things happening at the same time can't be pulled out. You can't run the same future or past. I hear a lot of people going, well, you know, if so-and-so was elected, things would have been a lot different. Well, you have no idea if they would have been different, or someone would have handled them better or worse. There is no alternate future for us to go down. It makes great movies, but in reality, there is none for us to explore. So I always take at least the reason why with a little grain of salt. And there was just a little too much glee in that these are down. So I'm not going to pin this all on a new bunch of protections for U.S. citizens in travel. But yes, I did it the opposite way. Isn't it interesting how propaganda works? It depends on one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. But anyway, down fairly strong today, but not a lot of volume. Just 7.7 million shares, which is for the move out here, not all that exciting. Previous low on AAL, which is American Airlines, if you're in Lutz. February 2nd low, $43.57, 7.6 million shares. I don't see a lot of damage in that yet. You just need to get down to 43.57 with light volume. DAL, take a quick look at that one. For Delta, nice gap down again. Not a lot of volume so far. 7.1 million shares. We had 11 million shares, last couple of days, last week. So this is not a huge volume day out here now. Again, it's much more interesting to me what this volume ends up being and whether or not we see a bunch of people kind of throwing this up at late in the day. JetBlue, which has no out of the United States exposure, if I'm not mistaken. JBLU, if I can type it correct. See if it's doing a little bit better. They're all kind of moving down. I could see maybe the reason that everybody's pushing today would be different if maybe JetBlue was acting a little different. But it looks to me just like weakness on all the airlines. And there's a good case that you can make even for JetBlue, which doesn't have a lot of foreign exposure, and nothing that President Trump does will change this for the most part. This thing, if you just looked at it, took the name off of it, would you say that this thing looks more like an ABC down and was looking that way far beyond any news that gave you a reason this morning? I think so. Let's take a look at what that expansion would be. On an ABC, would be pretty big. Let's zoom in this a little bit better. 2318, the January 11th high is your A point. Your B point comes on February 8th at 1871. Your bounce up here to $20.65 on the March 1st. Now the move back down. A 1-to-1 would take you to 1621. So if you look back here, is there a whole lot down here at 1621? There actually is kind of a nice ledge that starts on September of last fall all the way through October. So to me, that would, just a 1-to-1 would take you back to the October of last fall. I don't know if that's a big deal or not. I don't think so. Just think stocks go up and they go down. Let's take a look at love, LUV. All you need is love, right? Food and shelter too, though. This one, not much at all. And maybe they even have less of exposure to foreign countries because this thing is doing nothing. Very strong today in a field of weak. But what do you have today? 4 million shares? Could you get some by the end of the day? Maybe. But certainly the strongest looking of the bunch. Let's take a look at UAL. That'll wrap up airlines out here today. This one had a big test of the top. Volume came in just shy of the December 15th high that had 4.75 million shares at 76.80. You hit it and missed it by that high by 15 cents, shortened up by 500,000 shares. So really wasn't that much. This one's kind of coming back down. Again, just 3.5 million shares today when you had 4.2 on Friday. And, is there going to be anything big or just a bigger trading range? It looks to me like your next point that you could even consider buying this would be down at 59.34. And, I don't see that much in that one either. $64 looks to me like a place that you'd want to be looking at this one for a potential buy. That's the day this thing gapped up with 10.5 million shares on the 15th of November. And we'll look at this in the next couple of days. But If I was picking one that had a good-looking chart that gave me some kind of predictive bias out here, $64 looks to me like UAL, probably the time you'd want to look at this sector again if you wanted to go long. I'm not a big fan of shorting these right now, but they are having a bad day. Let's look at some of the other stocks moving around here. What else did I have? Let's check in. 2375, again, no volume, no movement, a little over 2 billion shares now. But again, kind of the same thing on Friday. We just didn't have a lot. People tried to buy, people tried to sell. There just wasn't much going on. Let's go and look at some of the ones I was looking at on Friday, or from Friday, that were making sounds. I think someone was talking about this earlier in the day. And, you had a little gap in Pan American Silver. Wasn't a lot of volume to that day, which is the 5th of January, when this thing gapped up with 2 million shares. You're back into it today with 1.4 million shares, but you kind of tested it with 3 million shares on Friday. But I don't give that support level a whole lot. Look back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we are back. Let's see what else we got going on out here. Okay. Market's right where we left it before we went to the commercial. 23.75. Volume still nothing on to the upside, nothing to the downside. We're talking about Pan American Silver when we came out, of course. Gold, what was it? I think I saw 1238 earlier in the day, 1227 now. I think I saw a low of 1222. There just isn't a lot pushing these around. What really does kind of concern me today is that copper dropped a nickel. And that's probably the biggest thing that you want to be looking at today. Other than that, again, I think they called last week, and I thought it was Nova Gold. I thought that maybe what you wanted to be looking for in a potential low to buy again out here is, you got down to 475 on Friday. Bounced a little this morning and came off of it. To me, I suspect you're probably going to find some kind of low in the TLT when the next time to buy gold is. And for me, even though you don't have much volume in the TLT today, this thing just continues to bang around these lows. I would not be surprised to see a big gap down to the December 14th lows at 116.80. And at that point, I'd try to reassess whether or not I wanted to buy any of the gold stocks or silver stocks or whatever. Just, is there a lot of downside? Probably not. I don't see real signal out here to be a pilgrim. Of course, they're the first, but they also get the arrows. Excuse me. What else do we have going on out here? Uranium resources. Really like the way that uranium took off. It may have not been for the best of reasons, but everybody and their dog in Asia and Russia and everywhere is building a nuclear power facility. Done right, the cheapest way really to make electricity other than having a dam, if you're so lucky that your country has one. But still, no country could really rely just on dams. But most nuclear power around nickel per 1,000 kilowatt hours or whatever it is, a kilowatt hour. I can't remember right now. Anyway, uranium resources, one of the better looking charts out here. And we'll probably take a look at CJ2 here in a minute. But, not a bad looking chart. And everybody wanting to make cheap energy. Probably, what is it? CJ. Yeah, the whole thing with that, with the power generation thing. What is it? CJ, what is that Canadian company? I'm just drawing a blank right now. Somebody in the dental, tell me. CJG, what is it? CCJ, yeah, thank you. Anyway, one of the better looking charts out here for URRE. Let's take a look at CCJ, see if anything's going on out there. This one's kind of back to where this thing really kind of took off and came back. Let's take a little shorter time frame on this thing and take a look. Certainly bounces around a lot. It had a fairly good signal back here on February 6th and bounced again. Energy has really kind of come off this February 14th high. I'm a big fan of watching these things kind of let all the energy, not a pun, all the energy, at least in the stock price, come out. But, these are not looking that bad. You got 2 days of light volume over here on CCJ. Energy off this February 14th high was not all that, wasn't a big sell-off all the way. It was kind of a nice orderly sell-off back here. And, you might actually have, I'd like to see it test the February 6th low of $10.34. I'd also like to see crude do something. It's off 19 cents today. It really just kind of quiet. My guess, though, is we start seeing energy, especially crude, back above 55 bucks. We're going to see a lot of these things moving again, but not a bad looking chart. So people can look at that. It's Holloway, Boil Water, Westinghouse, Toshiba in USA. Cost overruns, delay plans, and may never be. Yeah. That didn't happen in Russia. It doesn't happen in Asia. They just, break ground in 2 years. They've got a nuclear power plant over there. They don't really have to put up with a lot of people telling them how to do everything. And of course, a lot of the new plants have a lot of the new safety features over in Asia that we do not have, since we really haven't built a new plant in a long time. So maybe they'll be a little bit better. I was actually watching, I think it was a week or two ago, a timeline of Chernobyl. And very interesting to see that they'd really just ripped off the design here in the United States for our power station, but they'd gotten one thing wrong. And that's why the whole thing really it ended up melting down. They didn't really figure out the pipe diameter for the backup water supply. So when they ran the test, the whole thing blew up in their face. But what else can you say? If you copy off everybody else's work and don't do it yourself, you're going to be in a world of hurt. But there's always, something you haven't thought of before, like Fukushima, like, we're going to build this place where we've had tsunamis before and we've had a lot of earthquakes, but, it's just not going to happen to us. You always get those kind of folks. Anyway, let's look at a few of these other stocks and see how things are going. ABT, this one hit a high, Abbott Labs. On fairly light volume, the August 2nd high, 45.50, 18 million shares. Did go over it, did close back below it. So you got a pretty decent sell signal if you were long on this. The energy wasn't all that weak off the December 1st low. This thing had a nice run back up to the top. And just no juice at the top. I think we talked about a bunch of these stocks that were just making highs on very light volume. But, down today, a lot of volume, no. Tire market's kind of like this. But it was Friday just the same. But we've got a lot of people waiting for some pullbacks before they venture out to go long in this market. And I would not be surprised to see, just one of these things where you gap down every day, light volume, gap down, light volume, gap down, light volume. And then you should get some kind of washout to actually make some kind of buyable low. But not a lot of volume, just 2.1 billion shares today. ADP, nice test out here today. You're looking for 2.5 million shares from the January 13th high at 104.09. What'd you get? 1.81712. Today, it's 750,000 shares. You should break that high on ADP. We come back, we'll look at AIG, a couple other ones out here that are kind of interesting. Maybe some of the train stocks. We'll look at some more sectors today.
TFNN has just launched a special event in Tampa with Tom O'Brien taking place March 18th, sponsored by Nadex. Tom O'Brien will be presenting 2 workshops for a combined 2.5 hours of education, bisecting and dissecting his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. March 18th kicks off with a continental breakfast as we get everyone checked in, and that is followed by 2 75-minute workshops with Tom O'Brien. The first workshop from 8:45 until 10 a.m. will cover quality volume, cause and effect, and ABC structures, and the second workshop from 10:15 until 11:30 a.m. will cover swing points, testing, and the Tiger Gartley. Tom will then wrap things up with a question and answer session, which will be followed by a Tiger Luncheon Social on the rooftop of the Westin Hotel. The best part is that it's all free, but you must register to attend. Visit the front page of TFNN.com for all the details and to sign up today, and we hope to see you in Tampa on March 18th.
If you're looking to unearth a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, consider the new Market Safe Core Commodity CD from Everbank. This 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 4 equally weighted commodities: gold, copper, WTI oil, and sugar, in one powerful CD. With no pricing caps, you can potentially earn an unlimited upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across semi-annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There's no annual percentage yield yield or periodic rate of interest on this index CD. Don't miss out. With certain commodities on the rebound, now is the time to take advantage. The March 23rd funding deadline will be here before you know it. So call 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once more, that's 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
As we come back again, 23.75. This market is stuck. Someone needs to come out and give it a push. Anyway, doesn't matter. But just not a lot of push, not a lot of volume. Every rally attempt's got light volume. Every downside selling has light volume. So we'll just have to see. But see if there's any other questions out here. Was a question on the TLT. I don't know what else to say other than I expect it to test the 116. What is that? 45 low. And we can look there. But I don't think there's anything in that. The U.S. dollar index, 101.65, got down to 101.26, maybe 101.24. So kind of up off the lows, kind of just humping back. This thing just looks more and more like a football every day between countries trying to push the dollar price around. Gold, $12.27. Silver, $17.82.5. Platinum, $9.80.60. Copper, that's the one that I'm focusing on today because it is off 4.5 cents at $2.65. So I don't know if there's a lot more to bring up other than that. Automatic data processing, as we said, this thing's got just 700,000 shares compared to the 2.49 million shares when we go back and look to January 13th. So I don't see a lot in that. AIG. What do we have on this one? Again, this thing looks like it could be making a fairly large ABC on the way down. Let's take a look at this. Okay, did a 63% reversal, or retrace back from the 67.47 high. Did so with a huge sign of weakness in this February 15th low at $60.41. You got a little doji out here. I think you got to test the 60.41 and be reticent that a 1-to-1 ABC takes you to $57.84. And, you got a nice little gap right there at 57.06, the November 3rd low with 13 million shares. I think that little gap in there, 57 to 58 bucks, could open up wide if this market does continue to pull back. Anadarko Petroleum. Well, as I said, energy kind of looked rather interesting. Was kind of looking at this one. You want just a little lower, about 61, 61.50, and see how this comes back and fills this gap. Not a lot of volume today, just 3.2 million shares compared to 7 million shares on Friday. But you got kind of a double gap out here. Everybody knows how much I love these. And that comes right in at $61 or so. And so you got about another buck down to keep an eye on some of these energy stocks. What else do we have out here? CalAm, EPE, FRT. Let's look at Federal Realty Investment Trust since it is testing its previous low, and let's see how it's doing it. You had 1.1 million shares on February 3rd, 134.39, 1.11 million shares. Friday, you had 549,000 shares. Today, just 242,000 shares. The energy is about the same on the way up as the way it is on down. But, if I was wrong, this market decides to rally. This one actually does not look all that bad out here for a temporary bottom. You got a real narrow risk reward. You don't want this thing really closing below 134.39. So risk reward's pretty good. GDXJ went through its gap like a lot of these gold stocks did. Volume isn't all that exciting. 19.5 million shares today compared to 25 million shares on Friday. This thing basically going into a gap up that had about 10 million shares. So, is it a gap? Yeah. Was it a gap on a lot of energy? No. So does it really mean that much? A little, but I'm not going to figure that out. To me, the next real big test would be the 27.37 December 20th low in the GDXJ. You've got some huge signs of weaknesses like the 27th of February where this thing came down on 61.4 million shares. So, and even just a few days ago, 48 million shares. So you got a lot of people bailing out to exit stage right. One of the only legal marijuana companies spiked its high last Friday, did so through the October 7th high, 137.88, 837,000 shares, spiked it with 588,000 shares, reversed that day after it ran everybody, and now just going a little sideways out here. Do not like the energy at all off this December 2nd low, and I'm not exactly sure why this thing's doing it, but look, all the biotech and pharma stocks look rather weak out here, so I would not be surprised if that's just a one that's flying along with a flock. Health South did make kind of a light volume test of its July 29th high of last year at 43.13, 2.7 million shares. Finally got up to this and was 2 cents shy on February 21st on 1.26 million shares. It's kind of moved back up here. Today's the first day that we're moving back down. But again, not a lot of volume in a lot of these different ones out here. We were going to talk about trains a bit. Kansas City Southern, this one kind of interesting, got back up to its huge sign of weakness, which was back on the 9th of November when this thing gapped down with 13.3 million shares. Came into it with 1.59 million shares. All I can say is run, Forrest, run. But that's about it. Kind of light volume days off of this, so you can't make a lot of it. Energy was about the same on the way up. It's way down. Again, I think to get these train stocks running again pretty hard, we're probably going to have a big reversal in crude to the upside. McDermott International did exactly what you would want it to do if you were thinking about buying it today. You had a nice gap up on the 30th of November with 5.8 million shares. The only downside is just too much volume on Friday, 6.7 million shares, but it has filled this gap and come back. Don't think there's any way I'm shorting a $7 stock, but it has a nice gap. It filled it mostly today, but my guess is you're going to get another opportunity. The volume on Friday just way too much, but this, if you were thinking about buying some of these stocks, they are coming back into their gaps. If they do so in light volume, then it would be interesting. Navisite, NAVI. When we come back, we'll look at this one. Not a bad looking chart out here. Don't know a lot about the company, but we will find out. But a pretty good looking chart.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're looking at a few on Navisite. We're going to take a look at this one. I probably run into it before, but in my old age here, I always like to go back and look. Asset management, business processing services to education, healthcare, government, and clients to the federal, state, and local levels. Anyway, not a bad-looking chart out here. And, of course, this thing ran on the election, coming back down here on light volume and energy. You probably want to check this one out. I'd still want to see this thing fill at least half this gap up from the 9th of November. But we'll see about that. NBR, Neighbors Industry, another one that did that. You got a lot of these that popped in that election cycle. This one huge volume day on the 30th of November, did so on almost 18 million shares, coming back into this light area on about 3.5 million shares. So again, you got some charts out here that are kind of setting up. If the market cooperates with you, you can probably pick a few of these off. To XHB, which is the Home Builders Index, $36.53, August 23rd high, 3.26 million shares. Got into it with just a little over 2 million shares on March 1st and has pulled back into this. I kind of find that this is kind of an interesting pattern as we get back up here into higher interest rates. And I think the last I looked at it today, the March rate hike percentage is 88 or 89 today. So we're probably looking at a rate hike. Janet Yellen said we were on Friday. I don't know why it did 98%, but it isn't. But to me, it's kind of hard to see that there's a lot of upside risk in going short this. It may not go anywhere. You've got normally about a 6-month period where everybody, as interest rates start to hike, everybody runs out and buys a house because they don't think they'll be able to afford it next year. And of course, what happens, the prices peak out and they start heading lower as the interest rates go higher. And it kind of puts the double whammy on the housing market. But, I don't know in that kind of sliding 6-month where everybody rushes to get in on the last at the height of the market, what's going on. But keep a close eye on this one in the next few days. The XHB looks very interesting. What else do we have out here? Some emails. Oh, I read this whole thing. I thought it was something else. It was my nephew. Anyway, it's interesting. Let's take a quick look at what do we have. Someone wanted to look at Amazon, so let's look at that. Amazon tested its previous high on basically the same amount of volume, up to 860 with 3.5 million shares. And you had 3.46 million shares before. You kind of came back into this trading range. The energy off the December 2nd low was not all that exciting way back up here. You had one big day, and it was a down day on the 3rd of February with 11 million shares. Again, if this one fails, it's going to be all in one day. It's going to be, you wake up and it's going to be $250 down. So again, if you're going to buy or play Amazon to the long side or even the short side, I don't know why you wouldn't be using options. But that's just me. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sow when you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.